So today I'm going to be sharing with you how I make my cherry, almond and coconut bake. And you could make this in an oblong tray, but today I've been testing out a brand new pastry tin and I give it a firm 10 out of 10. And if you like the look of it too, then I'll pop the link in the description. If you would also like to know more about my channel and recipes, then do give me a subscribe. That way then you'll also know where the recipe was, where you find it and how to get to it easy. Now, the only last dilemma I have is it custard? Is it cream with it? Or is it ice cream? Or is it all three?
Preheat your oven to 180 degrees centigrade. Then have a tray or pan ready. This is a new pastry tin that I'm using, which worked brilliant. No soggy bottoms. Flour down your surface, then you need 500 grams of short crust or dessert pastry, shop bought or homemade, it doesn't matter, but I have batches of this already of mine in the freezer, ready to roll out. And if you want the homemade recipe for both types of my pastry, it is on my website. Go to the section labelled Other. Now you need to line your tin, taking care not to rip the pastry, and do not worry about it overhanging over the edges because I've got a top tip to deal with this later. You can also roll a small ball and go around the edges, and this also helps to stop any ripping into that pastry. Then you need to pop the pastry into the fridge whilst you carry on with the next section. In a mixer, place 100 grams of soft butter and 100 grams of caster sugar and beat it really well for around about 5 minutes until it goes really light, white and fluffy. Then add in 1 beaten egg along with 30 grams of ground rice, 50 grams of ground almonds, 50 grams of desiccated coconut, 50 grams of almonds that have been chopped up and 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Stir until it's all just combined together. Then add in 2 tablespoons of milk to help loosen the mixture. Take the pastry out of the fridge and you'll need around about 6 tablespoons of cherry jam. Smooth it out right to the edges so it's got an even base. Then you're going to pop that almond mixture on top. Now, the easiest way is to do it in blobs and then move it out. If you try to do it in one big lump, well, it could be a little bit tricky, but just coax it out to the edge with a fork. You don't need to be too precise because the heat of the oven will move it all out. Then you need to add your glacé cherries on top and pop in the oven for around about 45 minutes. Now, if you see that it's cooking too much and going too coloured, you can pop some foil over and then pop it back into the oven. Once it's cooked, then make sure you leave it to cool on a baking tray for a while. The reason you leave it to cool is because of this top tip. Yes, that is a vegetable peeler I'm using. I go around the edges with it on all that overhanging pastry, and then voila, look what you're left with, a cherry, almond and coconut bake.